Hi. Okay. Oh my god, my hair just makes me look like I have a big forehead. So, hello. Today, I thought that I would do some decluttering. I've got a lot of clothes in these drawers that I don't wear and that don't fit me, that definitely could go to someone else who needs it more than I do. And I figured, why not take you guys along the journey of decluttering, because I also have some really awesome news to share. So let's just get started. All right, so I'm gonna go through this basket first. My boyfriend gave me a lot of his old shorts and I never wear them, but even when I do, I only wear them around the house, so I'll keep a couple of them for pajamas sake, but some of these like this waistband, while it's stretchy, it cinches a little too tight, you know what I mean? So I might donate this. The good news is that, oh, we got approved for the house loan, yay! I'm so happy, I'm so excited. This is something that we've been waiting for so long. We literally applied for a home loan back at the end of November. So it's been a long journey. It is now the end of January. January ends this week. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. Things that I want to pack up, I'm gonna put in this bag actually. So shorts, because it is cold. It is currently Alaska in Dallas right now, and my god, girls and boys, it is very cold outside right now. Snow is currently melting, but that means that the ice is just going to re-solidify tonight because it's going to be in the 10s. Continuing on with the good news, today is Tuesday and we got approved for the home loan on Friday when Alaska weather weekend started. So we couldn't go anywhere this weekend to go see any houses, to go put in any offers on houses that we've liked so far. We haven't like actually really fallen in love with a house in quite some time. We did like a couple of houses, but then we realized that we could get so much more house for our money that we decided we should just keep looking. We should just keep looking, keep our options open, you know, man? We want to be able to grow into this house. We're going to be in this house for the next few years at the very least, you know? And we definitely want it to be a place that we're comfortable in, raising our family in, housing a couple of guests and family members and their kids. Just based off of that alone, we wanted to have a bigger house, have a bigger yard. We really liked this one house. First house that we absolutely fell in love with, we fell in love with it at an open house, and the realtor was very forthcoming. He was very responsive. Apparently the owner is also a very nice woman, and she just wanted to get out of the house. And we really loved the house. Genuinely, it was a good house to start because it had 3 rooms. It wasn't entirely too spacious now that we've seen what our money can get us in a different neighborhood. This particular house, it just had everything that we wanted after seeing so many disappointing houses and open houses. Okay, well, we're done with these rotting houses with bad foundation. We are done with poorly renovated homes. We were originally going to multiple open houses. The housing market, it's not the best, it's not the worst in Dallas, but especially for our pay grade, our combined pay grade. So me and my partner discussed it before we went to these open houses that he would be paying for the rent while I would be paying for all of the utilities and extra house bills. Like if we went to a neighborhood with an HOA, which we really did not want to at first, but after seeing all of these houses that are in HOAs and seeing the condition that they're in and the renovation and the care that has gone into these houses with HOAs, we changed our minds. We did change our minds. So it's been a journey. It's been a learning process too, but it's something that, you know, we both discussed more on after we looked at more houses, that this is just more reasonable for us and our pay grade currently. And whenever we do get more money, we're gonna look for better, bigger houses that are in our pay grade still when we, you know, have our promotions, have our raises, you know, we will get those promotions and raises very quickly so that we can be in our forever home for forever. For now, a house and an HOA will do. I've actually worn all of these clothes fairly recently, but I do need to mend this shirt because it has a big old hole at the bottom of Colorado. We did not meet my realtor until the beginning of January. We've been looking at houses on homes.com, and I kind of figured, okay, well, everybody is saying like all these things about Zillow, about them just trying to make you reach out to a Zillow agent rather than the actual listing agent. Same thing with homes.com. They're making you reach out to the homes.com agent rather than the listing agent, which I thought I was going to get the listing agent, and apparently I did reach the listing agent, but the listing agent was the broker, not the actual realtor that can come and show me the house. So I met the realtor at the house and I did the whole spiel of like, oh, I already have a realtor, it's my aunt, but she's not in Dallas currently. So, you know, I would just give them this whole spiel of like, okay, well, sorry, not sorry, I'm not like available for you to poach me, basically. And she was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then I walked around, you know, recording the house, and we wanted this house, by the way, mainly because of the sunroom, but then seeing the sunroom, it was kind of a disappointment because there were a lot of cracks in the windows that you didn't see in the pictures, of course. It always happens like that. And then there were a lot of bugs in the main rooms. They beautifully renovated it. I loved the flooring that they put in. I think that the kitchen looked cute even though it was very small. I think that everything was right with this house, other than the sunroom and the bugs. The bugs were a big ick for me. Whenever I was recording, she kept asking me in the middle of recording, are you still recording? Are you still recording? And I'm like, yes. And I was actually like, honestly, I was getting a little angry. I was a little hangry. It was early in the morning. We didn't really get to eat any breakfast other than a little Dutch Bros little biscuit thing and a coffee, but we didn't even get to drink the coffee because she was already there before we were, so we were like kind of in a rush to get into the house. And so hangry me was like, yes, I'm still recording. And then I cut off the recording and she comes up to me and she said, girl, I don't think that you want this house, you know, like I mean, I don't want to like, you know, budge in on you, but you know, it just doesn't seem like this would be a house good for you and your husband. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, we're not husband and wife yet. He still has yet to put a ring on this thing. Okay, bing, bing, bing. It's not on there. But future husband and I, we definitely were thinking like, okay, well, this house is definitely not it. After that, we, you know, kept talking to her. She was asking me, oh, where are you from? Where's your family from? And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, obviously this woman is Asian. And I tell her Malaysian. She's like, well, what part of Malaysia? I'm Malaysian too. Oh my God. So we have that thing in common. I tell her that, you know, I have some aunties in PJ and we were just in Malaysia back in October. She was super happy to have met us, and then she's like, yeah. Oh yeah, then she started getting real with us. She started getting more blunt with us and being like, yeah, you don't want this house. You don't want this house. Like, there are way better options for you elsewhere. But she was like, but I know that you have a realtor, so, you know, just tell your realtor that you want to see other houses. I kind of like the realness that she has with me. And honestly, I kind of want that in a realtor. So the more that I talked with her, she just kind of like grew on me, you know, and her personality was exactly like my auntie's. I was like, okay, well, I know this lady. I basically know this lady. So I decided to tell her. My aunt, she doesn't live in Dallas. She lived in San Antonio. And, you know, she told us just to put her name on whatever house we want to sign up for, especially if it's a new build. But right now, like, she has her own like houses and business to deal with over in San Antonio, so she can't book us tours, she can't show us any houses in person. So why don't you just become a realtor? And she's like, no, like I can't be a realtor. What about your aunt? You know, you already promised your aunt that she was gonna be your realtor. And I was like, no, it's okay. It took me a whole 30 minutes of trying to convince this lady that we wanted her to be our new realtor. And she finally said okay, which is amazing, you know, and nothing on her, absolutely. She just has the personality of my aunties. And so we found a new neighborhood that we really enjoyed. Beautiful neighborhood. So we keep looking in this neighborhood, and of course we're still getting catfished with some neighborhoods and some homes. We are still looking at houses that are definitely not worth the price. We can see foundation cracks, we can smell gas leaks. There's a lot less room in a lot of these older homes. We shift our ideals towards this neighborhood because the houses are pretty spacious. There's a good amount of light. We're not living in like a duplex or a townhome, which is awesome. It is our own specific house. The only downside I would say to some of these homes is that they have very narrow backyards, but they have really huge driveways. All of them have like 2-car driveways, which is great because that's exactly what we didn't want to compromise on. Whenever we were looking at some of these houses, we could actually be picky about the house. Instead of being like, we'll take whatever house we can get, we actually have pretty good buying power. At this point, our home loan still wasn't approved, but while we're waiting for him to tell us that we're good to go, we are looking for a house, which honestly, I guess I wouldn't suggest, because our eyes fell in love with a house sooner than we thought we would. And we absolutely loved this house that had a great amount of square footage, a nice yard, big garage. They redid the carpet upstairs, new vinyl planking. Everything was updated, nice, new. And it was on the market for like 160 days at the time that we saw it. And literally just 3 days, 2-3 days after we viewed it, it was under contract. And then a day after it was under contract, it was off the market. Ooh, my heart when I saw that house go under contract, and I was like, oh man, this was the house that I really wanted us to have. Cut to the weekend before Alaska, before hell froze over in Texas. We're looking at some houses and we were not super impressed with a ton of them, if I'm being really honest with you. There was one that we really loved, the renovations. The house was perfect. It was beautiful, but the amount of space that it had was not perfect, was not beautiful. I do have to say myself, it's not everything that I imagined it to be. Other than the yard was huge, it was nice and bright and light inside, it was south and north facing, had a lot of windows, and they did leave the appliances and TVs there, which we don't need technically, but at the same time, it was just a nice thing to include for them, you know, especially the house being priced at $330,000. But from what I've heard from their realtor, their realtor said that there's already an offering on the house and that we should get moving on offering for the house if we wanted it. And so we just told our realtor, we really like that house, but honestly, our interest in it has kind of faded after seeing how much more house we can afford with $350 or $350K, $350, $350K. So after seeing how much house we could afford at $350K, we were like, well, kind of want to look for a bigger house. We keep looking in this neighborhood, okay? And the neighborhood next to it, because they have wonderful amenities, they have beautiful parks, they have beautiful trails, they have new sidewalks, they have new foundation, they have newer homes just in general. They even have new builds in some parts of the neighborhood. I have been trying to tell my realtor that we aren't interested in a lot of these older homes because they just don't seem to have enough space for the ideas that we have and for the family that we want, and for us to build and grow into something that is going to be, you know, big and meaningful for our purpose, you know. But I feel like she's kind of pushing us into a direction where it's more about like what she thinks is good for us, which is fine and cool, but at the same time, like, we are the clients, we are the people who are paying money each month for a house that we want. So like, let us figure out what kind of house we want. This weekend it's It's gonna be a house touring extravaganza because we finally have the funding behind it. We're at the finishing line. The longest part of the home buying process is literally just waiting for the approval from the bank, especially if you don't have a very good credit score, which we unfortunately did not, which is why it took so long in the first place. We took all of December to build up our credit score, to, you know, like try and join some certain parts of our finances so that we could bundle up our credit score on top of each other's. And most of all, his credit score is the one that matters the most because we are trying to apply for a VA home loan and he is the veteran, so he has to be the main signer, which is fine anyway because I'm pretty sure he has a better credit score than I do and he makes more money than I do, and also his debt to income ratio is way better than mine. So everything is going in his favor and everything is now going in our favor in turn because we did get approved for the loan after a whole 2 months of working on our credit score and after a whole month of trying to draft a correct letter to send to banks to say like, hey, you know, we did accrue a lot of debt. Our bad, but we're taking care of it now. Like, we are being adults, we are taking care of it in the correct manner, and we're not gonna have any more debt. I don't think we'll be putting in an offer on any of the houses that I've shown you guys in this video. I'm just really excited. I invited my mom to come over and spend the weekend with us so that she can be a part of this house buying process with us. I'm super excited because she said yes. She said that she's gonna come on Saturday at 11 in the morning, which is perfect timing because after we pick her up from DFW, we can go straight over to the neighborhood where I had sent my realtor a bunch of addresses that I would really like to check out. All of these homes are 4 bedrooms and up. We decided that we don't want anything less than 4 bedrooms. After we have seen that our money can take us that far, we were like, okay, 4 and 5 bedrooms is like the most ideal. It would be even more ideal if it were 2.5 bath. You know, we don't mind the stairs because we're still young and we still like can go up and down the stairs. It would be awesome to have our own office spaces as well as a dedicated guest rooms. Neither one of us have to push out our, you know, PC gaming or editing, just our office space to anyone that might be visiting us. But at the same time, we can also put in hidden beds in our offices. Like, I'm just so excited, y'all. I can already imagine the whole decorating process. We really have the freedom to make this place our own. We can decorate it, we can customize it to whatever we want. We can have a garden in the backyard, we can have a barbecue, we can, you know, do whatever we want to the house basically, except for maybe on the outside because we'll probably have an HOA. Unfortunately, fortunately, mostly unfortunately. Mostly I can just see us hosting our family and friends here, inviting multiple pieces of our family at the same time to have a barbecue, have a big cookout just in the middle of the kitchen, have game nights. I'm really excited. I know that our neighborhood is going to be pretty far out. I don't mind it. I don't think that our family would mind it either because it's quieter. It's a more suburban lifestyle than anything. And, you know, we can always just take a whole day trip to downtown Dallas or Plano or wherever we want to go to visit. It's a nice area, very new, up and coming, honestly, which is going to be great for the equity of our house. There's a new airport being built nearby. There's going to be a Universal Studios not too far from us. I think that we're coming up at the right time with the right rate and the right mindset to get the house that we want. I already did some decluttering because it is already cold in Dallas. I've already taken out most of my crop tops, spaghetti straps, only left the sweaters. I've already consolidated all of my purses and wallets into these 2 bags. And then I cleaned up my jewelry container. You can see that I put my 2 bags of little skirts, spaghetti straps, and crop tops in there. By the time that we get the house, probably still be cold. That's what I decluttered this weekend during Alaska. I wanted to see what your thoughts were about getting a home loan.
BuGuMi. So excited. Very excited.